Have you ever had a terrible day and no one noticed? You went to school, you talked to people, you laughed, you made jokes, you even had a nice conversation with someone, and somehow you went home feeling like nobody actually saw you. I think that there's a very specific kind of loneliness that comes from being seen by everyone but understood by none. This video is for the people who feel like they're invisible. Hi, my name is Claire, also known as Clarity, and welcome back to another video. Here you'll gain a little bit more clarity in every single one of my videos. It's normal for us all to have bad days, and sometimes many of us wake up in a bad mood or something really bad is happening in your life and you're struggling. In most of these cases, people automatically say, I'm fine, and I was a victim of that, honestly. When I used to struggle a lot, people used to ask, like, are you okay? Like, how are you feeling? And I used to just say, I'm fine, automatically. It was like an airplane mode. If you think, why do we do this? Why do we not communicate when we're not okay? Many of us, we keep conversations focused on other people. We become quieter and act completely normal, like nothing's wrong, even though you might be struggling inside. Or you're afraid of being judged by what you're feeling. And trust me, I know how that feels. I actually still struggle with that a lot. Yeah. It's something that I have struggled with for a long time. A lot of us avoid asking for help because we don't want to burden anyone. And my entire life, I used to have this question in the back of my mind. How do you ask for help when you become really good at looking like you don't need it? What do you guys think? A lot of us from a young age grow up thinking that we have to bottle up our emotions or hide what we're feeling because it's embarrassing, mean, or too self-centered, which is so not true. One thing I want to talk about and mention is the high-functioning type of person. One thing I want to point out is that someone can still go to work, go to school, answer texts, make jokes, laugh out loud, post on Instagram, finish and send assignments, talk to their friends, be social, and still have an incredibly difficult internal experience. It's important for us to remember that functioning isn't the same thing as feeling okay. I'm someone that's very high functioning, and this whole conversation really hits home because I'm someone that you will never look at me and know that I struggle, because I'm someone like I hide it really, really well, and I'm very high functioning. So I can be struggling so badly, and you will still see me grinding. You will still see me glowing, working, healing. Because I'm just that type of person, and I know that many of us can relate to this. Many of us seem super productive, like we got our life all together, but many of the times, so many of us are struggling internally and we don't have the courage to ask for help or to just ask to talk to someone about it, which is so simple, but it can take you so far. Talking to someone about how you feel can take you so far and you just have no idea. The minute I started actually putting effort into trying to reach out and talk to people is the minute that I started to see a difference in my mood and stuff, because it really feels nice to express your feelings and talk about how you're feeling in that day. Even if it's negative. If the person cares about you, they'll care enough to want to know how you're feeling and if you're okay and what's going on in your life. The thing is, people often look for dramatic signs when trying to understand someone's emotional state. But the issue is many of us have only subtle signs that people just don't pick up on. Human behavior is usually more complicated than that. Someone's behavior can change gradually. It can be withdrawing, losing interest in things, becoming unusually quiet, suddenly becoming extremely bossy or super busy, and seeming emotionally distant. Of course, I do want to point out that none of this automatically means someone is suffering from a mental health condition. But the important thing that I want to point out is sometimes people are struggling with something, and it could be someone you're very close with, but you have no idea because you never stopped to think about it. And this whole thing is very interesting because truly I ask myself, how much of someone's internal world can we actually see from the outside? If you're watching this and you feel like nobody noticed that you're struggling, I don't think you need to prove that you're struggling bad enough to deserve care. You don't have to turn your pain into something dramatic to become real. You're allowed to tell someone that you're having a difficult time, even if you can't explain why. The point of this video is to bring light of the fact that many people are struggling and they seem so happy or high functioning, but many times it's a cry for help. And when we talk about empathy, I think the least we can do is check up on our neighbor every so often. It's the least. Genuinely ask the person, how are you doing? Are you actually okay? Talk about your life. Because I don't see that much anymore. Unfortunately, human beings are becoming more self-centered every single day. And I'm not gonna lie, I do this sometimes. I'm not better than anyone. But I think it's important for us to point out this because it's something we have to do more often. We don't think about others anymore. Maybe being seen isn't someone automatically understand everything that happened inside of you. Maybe it's simply having one person willing to sit with the fact that you're having a hard time. So, if no one asked you this today, how are you really doing? How are you doing? Maybe sit with it a bit. Before this video ends, I want you to know that you are not alone. It's important to reach out when you feel like you're on edge or you won't make it alone. It's not embarrassing to ask for help. In fact, it's the other way around. It's not easy to ask for help and to seek someone to just talk to sometimes. So it's a very strong act. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that I was able to help anyone or make anyone reflect on anything. If you feel generous, please subscribe to my channel because it would really help a lot. I see you guys next week.